Hey, welcome back to an episode of Instagram Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hello.
How you feeling, man?
I'm great.
Yeah, why's that?
It was the second day of Anime Expo, and we did a lot of really cool things, and I'm with my friends, and I'm just kind of loving life right now.
Yeah, man, that sounds like it's a good reason to be in a good mood.
So check it out. Day 2 Anime Expo. We got some police in the background. If we stop recording, it's because we got busted. So you may never hear this episode until 10 years later when we're busted out of jail, I guess.
We're still on the 16th floor of a hotel in Los Angeles, so if there's background stuff, just pay no mind. Just try to listen to the fucking beautiful sounds of our voices. And this one's going to be more epic. We're going to work on being epic.
Okay, so today we actually did a shitload of things, starting out with the exhibit hall.
Yeah.
We all just kind of went there, checked shit out for a while. A quick rundown of it was so many people are there.
Oh, yeah.
Every year there's so many people, and it always surprises me. I don't know why. But there's some really cool booths. I found a dope-ass Fuka figure, which Sierra dressed up like Fuka yesterday. And today I found a figure of Fuka for $28, which is like a steal.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think I've seen I've seen figures go for like really low, but they're usually really shitty.
Right, and this is one that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
For a good-ass price.
Crazy price.
Goddamn stoked.
It's wild how $2 less than $30 will like fucking blow your mind, right?
Yeah, because 30 is like a pretty like normal. I mean, of course, there's tax, but there would have been tax on that 30 too. So it was fucking nuts. I also bought a few Land of the Lustrous because guess what? That episode where we talked about Land of the Lustrous and I said I liked it wasn't lying.
Yeah, he's
So
gonna read the manga.
I'm gonna read it.
Yeah, you did buy.
See if the manga's
you
for
only bought
me.
3
I
volumes.
bought 3 because if I don't like the writing style or something, if I would prefer the television show, then I'll just watch that.
Don't pay any mind to the AC. It's hot in here.
You may be able to hear it. You might not. We're going to try to clear it up. Anyways, then I bought a few blind box Monster Hunter figures, and it had some of my favorites in it. It had Lunastra, it had Kolv Taroth, and Nergigante, and I loved them. Great pulls. And then Kyle was able to buy a $60 Black Knight from Dark Souls figure, and it looks fucking dope. I'm way into it.
Yeah, 2 things. I always commend you on being one of those guys that like buys blind boxes or whatever.
Yeah,
because you can buy them open, right? Like you can find the actual figures, but
it's a part of it.
You
man.
like to get the blind box,
it.
which is something that I don't know. I don't think that's something that I'd be into because I'm like, I really want to know what I'm getting. It's crazy that you got 3 things you've never gotten before.
Well,
is there like a lot of those things out there? Like, is there like because there's a bunch of Monster Hunter games, right?
They're all different editions, different monsters. There's a lot of different stuff that you could get. And this one specifically was just like Elder Dragon. So I'm like, if I get a Kushala Daora, that's fucking cool. If I get Lunastra, Teostra, if I get anything, I'm pretty much happy with it. Jiva.
I didn't know there were different editions. That makes more sense. Like if you you fucked with a specific edition for so long, you go, man, there's only so many I'm missing, right? It's a little harder to get the ones you want. But if it's an edition you have never fucked with, you can. It's fucking
that's what I do.
Wide open.
They have so many different editions.
That's super.
So that's
dope,
why I do that. And then there's the Kirby figures, which I found some. I decided not to buy any.
Okay.
I might, if I go back to the exhibit hall tomorrow, I might try to get some.
Last year you got a really cool like terrarium, which is like my favorite Kirby thing.
Yeah, we got that in January, I think, from
Sack Anime. Yeah, which is really cool.
So I was thinking about getting more of those, and also Kirby has like a power move thing that, anyways, I'll try to get those. You got a pretty cool thing that you commissioned a little while ago.
Oh, yeah, no, we were talking about it, I think, yesterday at the end of the podcast, but there's this artist that I met last year at the last day of the expo, and he was telling me how, he commissions work and stuff, and so I got a hold of him, and I had him make something for me, because I was like, why not? I really like the way he draws, and so today I was able to pick it up. He's really cool, man. His name is Jeffrey Cruz. He's from Australia. His like art name is Chamba. On Instagram is the Chamba. And when I met him last year, I remember talking to him for a bit because he was just drawing. Him and his buddies split a booth up in the exhibition hall as opposed to the artist alley, and they just kind of draw what they're been paid to draw. And I was talking to him, and I first asked him, like, hey man, like, are you like Latino? And he goes, nah man, from Australia. I was like, cool. Chamba means job in Spanish. I thought that was interesting. And he was like, I didn't know that. That's it's crazy. Thanks for letting me know. I was like, why do you pick this name? I don't fucking know. But I decided I wanted to hit him up.
Good for him.
I wanted him to draw a kid muscle or a Mantoro muscle, whatever you call him, from the Ultimate Muscle show that I used to watch when I was growing up. And luckily, he knew exactly what it was. He said he got it in Australia when he was growing up too, and he enjoyed it a lot. So I was able to pick it up. He only took cash, which was kind of a hassle for like a second. I just had to find an ATM machine. And I guess maybe it's kind of difficult for someone who's like traveling abroad to like set up some sort of online payment system or whatever.
I feel like PayPal works, but I don't know, man.
But I was like, cool, man. Cash is, no big deal, right?
Shout out to Chamba.
Yeah, so I picked it up and I fucking loved it. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, I would for sure get more work from him. I really like it. I think he said he's going to post what it looks like on his Instagram tomorrow, so we'll probably like tag ourselves in it or also share it so people can check it out. But yeah, probably my favorite thing so far, because I am still looking for the Ultimate Muscle like figures that action figures that I look for every year. And the thing is that like usually they're so niche, they're never in like they're really nice figures.
It's always these tiny ass little booths that have like a cage you walk into.
Yeah, it's like you and I we take the mission on together and like we'll look at a spot and you go and you just kind of look at you like, yep, that's where I should be looking, and you go, good luck, because I have to go in and like hold my breath. It smells so bad in there.
It's a whole fucking experience.
I see some really cool shit though. Like honestly, like,
every once in a while there is, but it's always such different shit. It's never anime shit.
It's very like
it's always just like shit.
It's very old niche stuff. Like I saw like a bunch of like old like fucking Godzilla stuff today. I saw some Ultraman stuff. I saw some
which is like live action shows.
Yeah,
so it's a little bit different than
I saw some really old action figures for Yu-Gi-Oh! I was like, those are like, that's super cool. That's really rad. They're really ugly or whatever, but it's like I'm not gonna buy them. I thought they're pretty cool. Or I'll see some like throwback shows like Yu Yu Hakusho stuff. And I haven't seen what I want yet. I haven't seen any Ultimate Muscle stuff, specifically this collection of figures I'm going for. But it's okay. I'll keep trying. And worst comes to worst, if I don't find one this year here at Anime Expo, I'll just buy one somewhere else.
True.
Like I'll buy one online and to make myself feel better, because I know where I can buy them online. They're a little more expensive, but like I do want to add something to my collection. So
all right, well, I think we should move on to the best part of our episode.
Okay,
Sierra, why don't you join us for this moment?
Yeah, I'm going to step away for a sec.
While Juan, Kyle, and I were all fucking around in the exhibit hall, Sierra was being the best and attending a panel. There were 2 panels going on at the same time, and we were like, we're going to keep walking around. So we skipped the 11 Arts panel, but Sierra, the fucking champion of the crew, went to the Gkids panel, and boy, did she learn things about kids.
Yeah, well, it was actually funny because when in the panel, they said that originally when they first named their company, it was with the idea of like bringing like kid anime to the United States and stuff like that. But that's clearly changed, when they came out with Perfect Blue and distributed that,
Sucks, man. Sucks.
So now they
Perfect Blue is really good, by the way. If you guys haven't seen it, you should go and find that in any way that you can through Gkids or through other means. It's one of those things you should watch.
Yeah, but like for the panel, I was telling Juan earlier that it was really interesting how they set everything up. I think it was because it was like technically a workshop room that it was set up this way, but it was set up classroom style.
Oh, you had like tables and everyone had chairs that pull up, and it was like a long row of tables.
Yeah. And so that was a new experience for me because
we did that during the Erased English dub. It premiered in a room like that. So I've experienced that. I think, I'm not 100%, but I think that's also how the Hot Pepper Gaming funeral was. I think it was a funeral. I don't know. But yeah, I've experienced that, and it's very weird, right?
It is. I mean, it kind of, it made me feel like I was like more in a classroom and like less like I was actually in like a panel.
So you're like, I do have to take notes.
Yeah. And, but the cool thing is that, it was a very like casual setting also. And everyone, the 3 panelists that they had there which was their director of marketing, their director of distribution, and their, I forget what exactly his title is, but he like basically he's the director that kind of like gets all of the licensing and like he's the one that like decides, like puts in requests like, okay, we want to try and bring this to the United States. He's that guy.
Okay.
He's the director of that.
Coordinator kind of guy, yeah.
Something like that. I don't remember what his exact fancy title
COO.
is. Something. But they were all very nice and casual. And of course, they started off with the panel with their, biggest probably anime movie that they're bringing out this year, which is Promare.
Fuck yeah. Way to go, Gkids. Getting Promare on the list.
And so they were saying that this is actually Trigger's first feature film.
It is. Because they've had, like, I wouldn't call them films, but they've had, like, short animations and whatnot that could be considered short films, I guess.
Yeah, so this is Trigger's first feature film. And not only that, it'll be their first feature film that will be widely distributed in movie theaters throughout the United States as well.
Gkids has a lot of movies that come to theaters, which is pretty rad. They do a lot of the like Fathom Events movies and whatnot, which is, super cool. I don't know how many theaters do Fathom Events, but there is a schedule. They do all different kinds of things, from operas to rescreenings of like old popular films to anime. Like, it's fucking cool.
Yeah, and actually the guy who like gets all the licensing and stuff, that director, he was saying that like growing up he was lucky if he ever got to see things ever in theaters, because he grew up in like the middle of nowhere in Nebraska. And so he's like, so I feel, he was saying like, I feel the pain of like not being able to like, have anime readily available, because I lived in the middle of nowhere state.
Not just like Omaha, but like fucking absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, so then that's the reason why he's like so passionate about like trying to distribute out anime throughout the United States.
That's cool.
But, and then of course, not only did Gkids announce this, but later in the panel for Trigger, they also reiterated the same thing, that Fathom is hosting the Trigger premiere in September.
Okay.
So they kind of just reiterated that. They said that they wouldn't be doing their due diligence if they didn't bring it up. So they mentioned that, and they also actually showed an exclusive. They showed not only the trailer for it, but also like a short, like 1 minute clip of the movie itself, which is why when we went in to see Promare a little bit later,
like, I know everything about this movie.
I was like, I know the gist of this movie. But so that was really cool, and that kind of the same kind of thing with trailer and then a short little exclusive clip with a lot of the other works that they're bringing out, like Weathering with You, which will be released in early 2020. And then kind of just like, if anyone doesn't really know what Weathering with You is about, it's basically this city that has like rain and nasty weather all the time, and this girl has the ability to summon spots of sunshine, and she and this boy use that to kind of create change in the world.
But you're not going to name drop anyone right now? Isn't this the big Makoto Shinkai film?
Yes, it is the big Makoto Shinkai film. But I figured everyone pretty much already knew that, though.
Don't just assume. It's 12:06 in the morning here. We don't assume at this hour, you know?
It's fucking late.
But, so Makoto Shinkai does, that's his movie, and everyone's been really looking forward to it. And they're going to release it subbed and dubbed, obviously.
That's rad.
As they do. And then the next one that they showed, another big one that a lot of people are looking forward to, is Children of the Sea.
Baby, what's that, Doc? I want to see that fucking homie. Tell me.
So Children of the Sea, it's basically about this girl who is able to communicate with marine life.
You had me at girl. Yeah.
And there is currently no release date yet.
Okay. TBA. Got it.
Yep, TBA, and it's from Studio 4 Degrees Celsius. But
and what's the big deal on this one?
This one for me personally, because it's the animation style is what I would consider kind of like a throwback to kind of like 90s style animation. It's very stylized, and they were saying, because it's also based off of a manga, and so they did their best to stay true to the actual drawing of the manga, so it looks more like sketches, but it's like colored and has
that's cool.
More of an obviously looks more animated, but
they're the same people that do Tekken Concrete, I think, and stuff like that.
I think so.
They do a lot of really rad animation.
But yeah, so that one looks really interesting, and it kind of, when I first was watching the trailer, honestly, the first thing I looked at, especially with like the underwater scenes that they showed, it just really made me think back to was it Red Turtle?
Oh yeah, the Studio Ghibli Canadian French thing. I don't know. Yeah,
that was like the first thing I thought of as far as like the closest thing I could compare it to.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
And then those were like the biggest three that they're coming out with this year or soon. And then they also announced that in August or September or something like that, because they do a lot of partnerships with Fathom Events, and they've been doing like the Ghibli Fest and stuff like that in a lot of theaters. This year is actually Kiki Delivery Services' 30th anniversary, and with that, when they are showing the movies in the movie theater, it's actually going to have exclusive bonus content in the movie that has never been seen before in order to celebrate their 30th anniversary.
That's so cool. I really like Kiki's Delivery Service. When I was growing up, I would watch it a fair amount, but it was never like as enthralling as Spirited Away or Totoro or anything like that. But it has that like special place in my heart, so I do want to go and see it for the extra scenes.
Yeah.
Even though it's not like my favorite Ghibli movie, it's got some importance, so I'm down.
Yeah, and then they didn't go into detail about like what the extra scenes are like, so it could just literally be like
doesn't matter.
A minute clip.
It's just Gigi hanging out with the girl cat, and that's all I want.
But yeah, so they have that coming out. I think it's August or September, I think it is. But basically all you have to do is just check the Fathom Events listing, and you'll be able to know when Kiki's being aired or shown. And then they also were kind of plugging some of the older anime that has come out in the past that they're kind of like remastered, and that they're just kind of like doing like straight to DVD rather than distribution in theaters. And so at Anime Expo, you can buy a lot of those at their booth, and they also have like special collector's editions where you can get an audio soundtrack of the movie, and also comes with a 40-page book that has like basically like the feature length storyboards within that book, so you get to see all the storyboards for the films.
That's cool. I almost bought a soundtrack today, but I didn't. I don't have a disc player on my computer.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't buy it.
You buy most of your games on Steam anyways for your computer.
Yeah. For video games and stuff, it doesn't matter. But for like music, That's the only reason that I would want something on my computer like that. But anyways, that's rad. Pretty cool stuff. Any other cool Gkids info?
They kind of, after the clips, they kind of just plugged a lot of things like Studio Ponok?
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce it, but
that's like that's the little spin-off kind of studio from the Studio Ghibli boys that made Mary and the Witch's Flower.
Yeah. And so they released a DVD of, it's called Modest Heroes, and basically has 3 short films in it. And like you said, the creators of Mary's and the Witch's Flower. And then one of the other movies that they plugged it's called The Case of Hannah and Alice. And,
I like the name.
They didn't really go into like what it was about. It looked interesting. Looking at the cover art, you could tell definitely an older movie. But what they did say about it is if you bought it from them, then there is actually an exclusive interview of Makoto Shinkai, who is actually a really huge fan of the film, and he's kind of fangirling over it.
That's kind of fun.
So.
Oh, Makoto, my man.
Yeah, and then other than that, they just wanted to invite everyone to the Animation Film Festival, which is in Los Angeles, that they sponsor. It's at the TCL Chinese Theater in October 18th through the 20th.
I'm not allowed to go.
And there they do anywhere from like short independent to like animated movies to Hollywood or, big name studio produced anime movies. And some of the ones that they will be coming out with will actually be previewed and shown at the Anime Film Festival this year before they're even out in theaters for their technical real premieres.
Yeah. Kind of like what is happening at Anime Expo, where it's like, this is premiering. Also, 2 months later, it's coming out in theaters.
Yeah. But other than that, that was pretty much all of the news and announcements that they had. Then they did like a Q&A, and one of the questions that I was like asking, like, are you going to bring like more of the older movies or whatever over here? And then the guys were like, well, we really want to do that, but the harder thing about bringing older anime movies over is that back in the day, the licensing was a lot more fucked up and messed up, and it's just a lot messier, or sometimes you're dealing with like the widows of the actual creators, or the master files are collecting dust in a corner of a storage somewhere that people like, it's there but they're not really sure where, kind of thing. So it's just a lot more difficult to bring older stuff rather than newer stuff. And
that's interesting. That's cool.
So they said
to know
that's their hardest hurdle that they have, but
that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and then they had 3 awesome giveaways. I was so close to winning twice.
Damn.
But
big damn.
I didn't get anything. Most of it was just like, and one of them was like a fat stack of like 7 DVDs or Blu-ray DVDs of some really big named animes that they recently just put out on DVD, as well as like a whole set of collector's edition, their collector's edition. So
nice.
Which would have had all of the audio CDs and the 40-page book in it and all that stuff.
Looks like you fucked up.
I know.
Should have gotten there sooner or later.
Should have just bribed him.
Should have paid him $180.
I think I have about that much in my wallet, but.
Oh well.
But yeah, that was Gkids. It was very casual. It was
casual, but somehow you had like a giant info dump more than any other panel that we attended. So that's pretty rad.
Yeah, it was great. I was actually surprised. I was worried that it was going to be another Mappa Show
Oh
2019.
God, honestly, starting out the expo with Mappa doing absolutely fucking nothing put such a bad taste in my mouth for all these panels that we had to go to. That we got to go to. And everything else was pretty great, honestly. Like, Mappa did weird shit. It was kind of last minute, I think. It was weird.
Yeah, but because I was expecting it or was thinking it was going to be like Mappa, I literally just like sat on the end so that I could just get up and leave if I was like, this is dumb. Yeah. But no, it was all of the visuals and exclusive clips and trailers and visuals that they showed were all really amazing, and they gave a lot of information. It was very casual, and all the panels were very personable and just really chill and relaxed. So it was actually a good time.
Nice, dude. I'm glad. Well, hey, let's go to bed.
Yep.
Thank you guys so much for listening to the episode. If you want to hear more, then keep listening. Sierra, goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right.
Welcome back.
Yeah, what? Did I miss anything?
Back in it. Yeah, essentially, she just said she saw like some shit and it was cool.
Yeah, let me know. Tell me about it, word for word.
Okay,
That's cool, man. All right, cool.
Another time. Okay, sweet. I don't remember exactly the order of things that happened.
The next thing was,
I think we grabbed lunch. Lunch was good.
Yeah,
we all got different things from food trucks.
Got tacos.
I got barbecue,
mac and cheese,
and cornbread, and lemonade, and they were all really fucking good.
Yeah, Kyle got some like egg rolls or whatever.
Yeah, he got some food.
Yeah, but then we ended up going to Pony
Canyon. And they had a few things. So last year they told us about Kengan Ashera, which is a show about these businesses that hire fighters to fight on their behalf for different issues that they have, essentially. So instead of just like arguing and kind of figuring out stuff in the way that normally businesses would do, they're just like, hey guy, fight this other company.
Yeah, no, I've read the manga for that for a bit. I think I've read like up to 10, maybe 15 chapters. My friend Kyle, not my DM, Lesser Kyle, told me about it, and it's really interesting. And
the idea is fun.
Yeah. And so we got to see some more of it. Mm-hmm. Last year they just kind of announced it, and then they showed maybe like a really vague like promotional video. But this year they for sure showed the trailer, and they told us that it's dropping July 31st, which
on
is this
Netflix.
Month, on Netflix.
So you can make sure to check that out. Also, they showed this fucking absurd, I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
Clip of like the producer and
the
director.
And then one other guy, I think he was like the character director or maybe like a script writer or something like that.
Whatever he was.
But it was great,
It was amazing. It starts out and he's like in this car and he's like, I saw this anime called Durarara and there's a character in there that talks using her phone.
At first I thought this was a voiceover. It turns out it was him playing that audio off his phone, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then
it was great.
And then the next one's just like, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm not really doing that. My throat really hurts. I heard it. I damaged it doing something. Meaning he like recently damaged it because even at the panel that he was at, this was the producer of this Kengan show.
Yeah.
K-On! I think also he might have worked on. And then Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
He didn't say a goddamn word.
He didn't do K-On!, but yeah.
But his throat was like thrash. Mm-hmm. So like he goes, he just does the rest of the interview through his phone, through like text to speak or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like in a limousine and he's wearing a bunch of rings and black and he's like...
It was fucking funny.
And like we go, okay. And then there's a bit where he's like waving some guy on the street and the guy on the street happens to be the director of this Kengan show. And he's like, has cut off sleeves and a fedora.
He's just beating stuff up in a gym. Like, he's like, yeah, I go to the gym.
And then they meet the last guy, and he's like sitting in an office, and he's got like a jacket, like his arms are up to the sleeves, but he's wearing it like it's a cape or a robe or whatever, and he's just like standing there like he's some sort of businessman.
Like he's a Yakuza boss or something.
These three guys were acting like hella fucking hard. It was really funny because they were having
big old nerds,
and they were having such a good time.
Yeah.
I also really like that they kept like stamping the middle of the screen with like "Made in Japan" kind of thing.
Also, in case you haven't listened to our last year's Anime Expo episodes, Pony Canyon has the best moderator of all time. She's fucking awesome.
She's like this Japanese lady who's been in the United States because she does Pony Canyon USA. She always mentions that. You know, she's in charge of that bit, and she's been here for a bit. Her English isn't the best, but god damn it, does she try? And her jokes are like, they're kind of jokes, and then she explains them.
Yeah, she like over explains everything, but she feels like a mom. She just feels like a really goofy mom.
My favorite thing is that, like, so she goes, "Hey man, watch this promotion video for fucking, was it Fleet Force or Fleet High School or whatever." And then the promotion video starts playing, and then instead of just like letting the video play, she talks through the whole fucking thing. And it's like not even like annoying. It's kind of endearing. You go, "Oh,
it's great." I don't know how she makes it work, but it's great.
Yeah, so that happened.
Yeah, and then we also got to see a trailer for Actors, which is an anime about singing mostly, and that's coming in fall. They're apparently doing the voice actors that play these characters in the show actors, which made it so confusing when people were asking questions and talking about it. It's all like Vocaloid songs, but the voice actors actually sing them, and like, I don't know, man. Yeah, it's gonna be rad.
I didn't know what Vocaloid was, but people around me seem to know. I'm not looking forward to this show, honestly.
Not at all. It's not a show for me.
Yeah, it just looked kind of bad.
I mean, we've seen stuff like it, and it's not for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
What the fuck was that like?
I think
classical musicians, classical things, and Classical Lloyd, Vocaloid, Teddy Lloyd, like they're all using Vocaloid stuff.
I think the only show that we've like liked, or that, I mean, us as like a podcast have like given an approval to, that is like idol based or whatever, you know, like this kind of show, is Zombieland Saga, right? Like, because this show just reminds me of like those really weird shows where like people start an idol group or they're in a band and they sing, but not like a musical group, you know. Like, I'm talking about a group that sings like with the actual like lyrics and stuff.
Yeah,
it's not going to be for me. I can tell right now. But they were you know, they were there, and the guy, I think the director might have been there or whatever, and or the producer, and he was like being really nice and stuff, and people were asking questions, and it was fine. It's not for me, that I can already tell.
And then another one, Restaged Dream Days. It's another cute girls doing cute things type show. It's going to be string around High Dive. It's about these girls that are becoming idols, but they're not idols yet. So it's Zombieland Saga, but way the fuck different.
Yeah, this one also might not be for me. I think the animation quality just doesn't look that great, in my opinion.
Yeah, it airs on Sunday. If you're listening to this now, that's July 7th.
We'll be watching it for whenever we have to do the preview show, obviously.
We'll tell you how cute them girls is doing cute things.
Yeah, what else they talk about?
The Demon Girl Next Door. It's a comedy show that she made sure we knew it was a comedy and not a scary show because it says demon.
Yeah,
I'm like, Next Door definitely makes it a comedy.
Tones it down.
Like, are you fucking? Anyways, it's made by JC Staff. So that's going to be, I think it's on High Dive. I put it in my queue. So
yeah, I think so.
We're good there. And then Frag Time, which oh my god. Okay, so starts out really pretty music, pretty animation, everything's pretty. It's pretty as fuck. So it's a movie about a girl who can stop time for 3 minutes, and I'm like, oh, that could be cool. I don't know what's gonna happen with it. What are they gonna do with the story? And then like, it's made by the Kaze-san and Morning Glories people, and I'm like,
oh,
well, that was a lesbian anime, but that was fine. Like, I don't know,
lesbians are cool.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, this one's lesbian too, and I'm like, okay.
And then
it was like,
the title's like,
if you could stop time for 3 minutes, you could do anything to me. I'm like, oh, what?
I thought it said, what would you do to me? Or
yeah, like, it essentially said, hey, this is porn.
Yeah,
but it's not porn, but it is. Anyways, fucking, I went through a flurry of emotions during that. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Oh. Like really quickly. So that was everything that was shown at the Pony Canyon panel.
They actually showed the fleet thing we were talking about.
Can you not say stupid shit? That's not the Pony Canyon. We were in the same room, you goddamn
Is that A1? No, I don't remember.
Anyways, then we went away and we came back like immediately because it was in the same room.
But can we talk about the really bad questions they asked at Pony Canyon?
Yeah, man, we could absolutely do that. Okay, there was also anyways, go for it.
Yeah, so one of the questions that really fucking killed me, I don't know if it's the worst of the day, but it was a bad question. So they were talking about this Kengan show where like it's, you know, about these fucking underground fights or whatever, and this guy, his question is, yeah, so with the top tier, animes about, fighting animes, and he gave a couple examples, like this one, Baki the Grappler, and then he said some other Megalobox. He goes like, where do you
which are both drastically different kinds of anime.
Yeah, and they're also not just fighting based animes.
Baki
right?
is.
I mean, Baki the Grappler, the one that came on Netflix, is more about these fucking killers or whatever. It's not.
But it's also just about fighting.
And then he goes, where do you think fucking what's it called? Kengan Ashura?
Yeah.
Where do you think it's gonna like compare to these two? Where it's gonna land? And it kind of threw the people off guard because the guy that was like who was talking there specifically for the Kengan show couldn't speak because his throat was hurt, so he was like typing, and our moderator lady took the bit to be like talk about stuff, try to fill in the blanks. But it was a really dumb question because essentially what he asked is, goes, hey man, so this show you're here to promote and you want us all to watch, whatever.
Is it actually good?
Is it going to be good? Like, is it going to be, can you be honest with me? Tell me how good it is. Is it better than this show or that show? Like the Pony Canyon guys are going to be like, honestly, dog, it's probably not as good as Megalobox, but it's definitely better than Baki. They're not going to say that, It was just such an asinine question. Not the most asinine question I've heard that today, whatever. But I remember hearing that and being like, oh, dude, fuck you. What a dumb question. Somebody else asked also, I think in that one, someone raised their hand and asked the actor guy, the show called Actors, right?
Yeah.
Asked him, what would you recommend somebody to do if they wanted to produce music?
Yeah.
And then he's like,
so fucking.
He goes, I don't know, I produce anime or whatever. And then he goes, maybe use Vocaloid. He said kind of as a joke, That guy was kind of funny,
Yeah.
And then somebody else joked and said, hey, you could also apply to work at Pony Canyon,
Yeah.
And then
as an internship. For free.
Ha 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 ha. And I looked back at this guy when he said that, and his face got really sour. Like he's like, I'm not gonna work there for free. Bro, ain't nobody gonna hire your stupid ass,
So stupid. But my favorite part about that whole bit was at the end, the director of Kengan Ashura, he said, hey, guys, thank you so much for not asking any questions about Attack on Titan.
It's pretty great.
I really appreciate it.
Yeah, because he's been on the producer for Attack on Titan for a while now.
Yeah.
And then we recently, Pony Canyon said, I think last week, hey, the fourth season will be last season, come out 2020, right?
Yep.
So this guy didn't mention that. The only thing mentioned of him being on Attack on Titan was the girl saying he worked on this, right?
Yep.
But no one bothered to ask about it. And I also thought it was super funny to be like, hey, guys, thank you for cutting me some slack.
I really appreciate you guys not bringing up the one thing that I always talk about.
We also played a game of rock, paper, scissors as a group.
Junk and Pong.
In this year, she made it very clear that you had to win the match, not tie it. So if we both throw rock, you still got to sit down, right?
It went by so quick.
Oh, dude, it was great. It was 2 rounds, and then they had 7 prizes. 7 people went up there, and they're like, cool, and they were like, here's this stuff, and they didn't really they just kind of grab stuff, and I was like, yo, fucking grab something, and they're like all being really hesitant. It's like, dude, grab the script. It's probably worth the most money.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, that was Pony Canyon. Great time. I always enjoy going to Pony Canyon. I don't know.
It was rad.
It's the moderator. Fun. They're sweet.
I'll go back every year, honestly. Pony Canyon is one of the ones that's really chill. It's always in a nice room.
You always learn something.
It's cool.
They
exactly.
They always give something away or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? None of these animes looked like they were for me, but I had a good time.
I agree. I'm probably gonna watch the Kengan one. That's probably the most one that I'm thinking.
We'll see. We might do an episode on it, but I don't have any idea how I'm gonna feel about it.
Yeah, for sure. But I get it. The other shows that I talked about, I'm like, cool. Definitely not gonna be something I watch religiously or whatever.
Yeah. So there were only 2 things that were announced at our next panel, which was the A1 Pictures panel. First off, High School Fleet. It's been a TV show for, I think it was out 3 years ago or something, and then they might have had something else. But anyways, the premiere of the movie that's coming out soon is going to be in spring in Japan. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to be in the US.
I think it was 2016 they had a show, and then 2017 they had an OVA.
Yeah,
and then this was the next best thing. So, and A1 Pictures were letting us know. They were very adamant to be like, we didn't animate the first 2 things or whatever.
Yep.
We're just doing this movie. Here we fucking go. Mm-hmm. I've never heard of this. You ever heard of this before?
No.
It is A1 Pictures. Me. Yeah, I'm probably not gonna like it.
A very weird thing about this whole panel too is that they were they showed us the trailer, their demo reel or whatever, and it was fine. But it didn't have anything that they had made with Cloverworks before Cloverworks was Cloverworks, right? And then I realized I mostly just like Cloverworks stuff, guys.
I guess so. Yeah, they were because in the demo reel they're like, you might have noticed there wasn't this show and that show,
like Anohana.
Yeah, and then they kind of sat there and be like, yeah, so now that Cloverworks is a thing, this is like it's politics. It was a reshuffle. Most of the producers that went to Cloverworks are the ones that did those shows. So
and we're not like fighting. We're cool with each other. We're cool. Like, we're super happy actually, but it's just like a business thing.
Yeah. So those works went there, and I go, yeah, I think the Cloverworks are better. Like
honestly, yeah. So, but a lot of people still love Sword Art Online. Fortunately, we're going to get more for those fans. So Sword Art Online, I think it's called War of Underworld or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's like a continuation of Alicization or something like that.
Yeah.
And we got to see it. One of the people that was there for the panel was an in-betweener animator, and she did a live fucking presentation of her in between animating, which is like drawing the frames.
What? She's fucking amazing. Yeah. She's a professional.
Drawing the frames in between like the keyframes, and she just went up there like fucking did her shit, and honestly it was like all it was
made a character blink.
Yeah, all it was a character blinking, but it was really cool. Like it
was really rad seeing her do this whole process as people talked and asked questions and whatnot.
I wish,
and somebody asked the question of like, how long does it take to get to the point where you can animate like you did for this? And she's like, it takes about 3 years to get like that quick with animating something like this. But I've also been doing this for 20 years. Yeah. And everyone was like, whoa.
That's wild. Yeah. I mean, I wish, okay, and I think the person to blame here isn't our moderator, because our moderator was Anthony from Aniplex, who I'm not a huge fan of. But he asked a very good question. He asked like, something about can you tell us the processes of in-betweening or whatever? And how, because after
like not many people know what an in-betweener is. Yeah, so can you explain it?
But he also asked like after we physically saw it, he was like, can you tell us what we're looking at here? Anthony asked a question and it was like several syllables. It was like a couple sentences, right?
Yeah.
And I think I want to say that the person to blame here was a translator, because he looked at the chick and said like two words, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the girl answered like back, but I was like, she didn't really answer what Anthony was saying, like she just kind of answered something. So I'm assuming the translator took the easy route and just kind of asked something really simple, like, hey, what'd you do? Explain what you did or whatever, as opposed to, can you explain what exactly we physically looked at here? Like, I wanted her to be like, yeah, so when they give me the keys,
right,
they also tell me where the in-betweens go, because there's frames in between the keyframes. And she just knew what she was doing, right?
Right.
But I would have been cool to be like, yeah, you see these dots here mean that this is where I'm doing this and that, and like. But she didn't say
awesome.
It would have. I mean, still really cool to see. I've never seen anybody do that live like that, and it was super impressive.
Yeah, and then the other people there were other directors and producers and whatnot. One was the Sword Art Online director. I think he was, I don't know, whatever. He was there and he was promoting his like art book, and also he said that he's really bad at making keyframes, but that's like the only thing he works on.
Yeah,
and he always gets criticized for it, and that's, I don't know, man. He's like the boss though.
No, that's just the guy that was doing like the promoting his art book was the guy that crashed the thing. Like he showed up.
He wasn't supposed to be there.
He was not supposed to be there. He showed up and he was really funny. He had always something to say. He was very like
he took over,
energetic, and absolutely. And it's because the other three guys, the people who were there, they admitted from the very top, like this is their first time at AX.
Yeah, and
then one of them guys even said, "This is my first time speaking at a convention or anything." Right. So they were a little nervous. I think they handled themselves very well.
And they were also asked the question of like, well, since this is your first thing, like, what are your impressions? And they're like, holy shit, the cosplays, man.
Yeah, they talked a lot about the cosplays. Yeah. I feel like, I guess we cosplay super hard over here.
It feels like I'm living in an anime right now. It was funny.
One guy also talked about the sound euphonium thing, right? Yeah. Wasn't that?
Which, that was actually it.
Was that at Pony Canyon? So we missed that. So they.
Well, yeah, but I'll talk about that tomorrow.
Okay.
So.
What else?
I wasn't going to bring it up.
I'm trying to remember what the last guy was. The guy said that was what his deal was. I don't know. A1 Pictures was great too.
It was all right.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the people there. It was entertaining. They gave away stuff too. There was also a really stupid question at A1 Pictures. This one really upset me. Just
can't remember, but
there's a Q&A again. The guy raises his hands. There was a couple good questions. Like there's one of the guys asked like, "Hey man, what's the you've worked on several projects. What's one example of like a project that something really hard happened? Like, can you explain what was like the hardest thing you had to do?" And that was a good question. Fucking open for everybody. This guy raises his hand and he goes like, "All right, cool." He says something like, So we're all fans of anime here. We're all fans. We all got our waifus and our husbandos or whatever.
Yeah.
He goes, what are your guys' waifus or husbandos? And they don't have to be A1 picture, like A1 characters. It could be anybody. Because someone earlier asked, like, who's your favorite A1 character? Which was also a good question. Because
I thought so.
Some of the guys even said, like, they named a character and they would go, that character from that show made me want to work for these people.
Yeah. He said Menma from Anohana.
He's like,
is the character that made me want to get hired by A1 Pictures.
Which is, I did. Super cool, right?
Yeah. So I clapped for that one right away. I was like, fuck yeah, this dude knows what he's trying to say. Okay, cool.
So that question was solid. The question after about, like, who's your wife and who's your husbando was really stupid because then everybody in the room started laughing. And in my head, I was like, yo, man, like, these people, like, this is their job. This is their livelihood. This is their career, right? Like, they take this really seriously. Yeah, to us, anime is like this fun thing, right?
Yeah.
In Japan, it's this fun thing, but it's also like this huge business, right? And for them to be like, hey, which one of these characters would you want to, like, marry or fuck or whatever, like, and it's like, especially because, like, even the translator is like, did I hear that right? He had to ask again what he asked, the guy repeated it. And then Anthony had to come over and try to explain it to him. And then he had to explain to the fucking Japanese people who were visiting. And then they're just like, what?
Honestly, for me, it was embarrassing to be there during that. I'm fucking...
And then it was embarrassing to be like, wow, man, like, you can't, like, take this serious for 2 seconds. Like, look at these people. Like, they're really working hard on this shit. And you want to ask them which character they're going to fuck, right? And then, like, it also upset me, like, people around it thought that was, like, the funniest thing ever. I was like, yo, man, like... And then... What also really shitty, Anthony should move that shit along. He should be like, next question. Yeah. Let's ignore that one.
As a moderator, your job is to moderate.
Or as opposed to be like, he kind of waited for all of them to answer and they, like, all kind of struggled because, like, that's something uncomfortable for them, Like, they don't want to be like, yeah, I'd marry or have sex with this fictional character. For them, culturally, that might seem really weird, right?
Absolutely.
So that question, like, really pissed me the fuck off. And this guy was just a total fucking loser. Man, if you're going to ask a question, ask something, like, important, meaningful, or something fucking that's actually insightful. Don't waste someone's time with such a dumb fucking piece of shit question. So that was the worst part of A1 Pictures. Yeah, I hated that part.
So A1, it was okay. Pony Canyon, it was great. For different reasons. And then we took a little break, got some more food, found different food trucks. I got some Middle Eastern burrito. It was good.
Nice. I had a teriyaki bowl. It was okay.
Nice. Yeah. And then we got in line because we weren't sure if we were going to be able to make it or not. That's the way that it was making it sound. Anyways, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to make it to the premiere of Promare. Yeah. Which... we made it in fine.
Yeah, it was...
They capped off the line for the general audience, but for ADA premiere and press, they still allowed us to line up in our own section, and it all wound up working out. While we were waiting in line, I downloaded the Madoka Magica game on phone. Yeah, because I've seen a couple ads, a couple of giant-ass things on the building. Well, because I saw one thing that was advertising that it's a side story, and it does add to the story. And I'm like, fun. Oh, that's cool. I want to do it for the story. I don't really care about the game. And after playing about 5 minutes or so, it was like, you're going to have to download like 1.5 gigs of shit. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah, so it has like a lot of cutscenes and whatnot. So anyways, I'm excited to get into that.
Man. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know. I mean, you, Kyle and Sierra, we were separate.
We were all separate, yeah.
So,
we were in our own groups.
We did get in, all the premiere people got in. There's people from the regular line also got in. I'm not going to say everybody got in because there's no way. But we were in Hall B, which is a massive hall, right? It's like fucking huge.
Yeah.
So that was a worry of ours. This is the issue. People in the premiere line were complaining. There's like, because this is a non-clearing room. Yeah. And I've come to like, there's times I hate it. There's times I like it. If you're willing to come early and then sit all day for the one thing you want to watch at 5:30,
it's the same thing as sitting outside the whole day,
right? I'm like, hey man, more power to you. If you're gonna do that, good for you, right? If you're not breaking any rules, if the fucking people at AX decide that this is a non-clearing room and you're willing to do all that, do it by all means.
Yeah. And then as somebody who comes by like an hour or two beforehand, and then you see that that's the situation, you probably won't make it in because of that. It's like, well, fuck, that sucks. I really wanted to go to this. But all the other events didn't require me to do that. but it is an on-clearing room, and nobody's breaking any rules, and these people are staking it out, dude.
Dedicated to wait through for it,
I'm cool with it. Cool. It feels shitty as the other person, but you don't have any right to feel that way, honestly.
But I was legitimately in line with some Premiere people, and they were just like bitching and moaning. I'm like, yo, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, you're for sure gonna get in, like, calm down.
You spent your money on this.
You're gonna get your money's worth.
Don't worry.
I was like, the people in the fucking general line, that's who we should worry about. But anyways,
all right,
let's
enough
talk
with
about
semantics.
Premiere.
Don't want to really say a whole lot about Promare. Just because it's coming out in September. Mm-hmm. I don't have the exact date because I fucking suck, but whatever.
I think it's 16th.
Okay.
I think it's 16th and 17th. For some reason, that sticks in my head pretty well.
Okay, good. This movie was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
It was beautiful. Mm-hmm. The animation was gorgeous. The color palette was it was my jam.
Yeah.
Dude. The soundtrack, the characters, just the over-the-top anime-ness of everything really fucking delivered.
It was anime as fuck.
It was so goddamn anime.
It was like... so much trigger. It was just, my brain was melting at points.
Honestly, if you like Kill la Kill and Gurren Lagann, this is taking what they've learned from those, what worked really well, combining them together and making like hey, we're Trigger. This is what we're good at. Mm-hmm. Check out our really good shit in like one movie. It was great.
How long was it? It was like 2 hours, you think?
It was about 2.
Yeah. It was...
give or take like 10 minutes.
I was entertained. This, like we said, this is going to get a actual theatrical release here in the United States.
I don't think that it's worth us spoiling everything about the movie since you can't watch it.
But when that does come out, we'll for sure do a fucking blow-by-blow on what this movie is. Because by then, people should be able to check it out.
And a short breakdown of the plot is essentially, you've got these firefighters, but they're fighting people that start fires.
Yeah.
Essentially, there are people that exist in the world that have like a fire within them that sometimes has to ignite, and sometimes it catches buildings and stuff on fire.
Yeah, they've like spontaneously combusted or whatever, and shit's kind of gone to hell, and now we got these firefighters that fight them. It's pretty dope.
It starts out with a fucking kick-ass scene of them fighting fires, and it was just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then from there, it spirals into actual plot and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And it feels very Trigger.
Fucking dope-ass character in it. Fucking animation and character designs. So good.
Before any fucking fight scenes happen, because fight scenes happen super quick in that first little, like, putting out the fires bit, just them putting out the fires was like, holy shit, this is rad. Mm-hmm. And they start fighting, and I'm like, holy shit, this is rad. Like, everything felt so rad. People were screaming nonstop.
Yeah.
It kept doing, like... that a whole Kill la Kill thing where it pops up a really bold title of something.
Oh yeah,
that felt good. That was rad.
Yeah.
It did the Gurren Lagann aspect of like things keep building on each other.
Yeah.
And honestly, the main character looks almost exactly like Kamina, and he has a lot of the same shots and like attitude in some things of just like, got to be the bold, you got to be the best, you got to put everything in it that you have. He kept talking about his soul's on fire, and like that's where all of his passion is. And I'm like, that's fucking Kamina. You just like believe in yourself, believe in fucking cool shit.
Yeah.
Essentially, and then do cool shit. He was really about style. He didn't care about how good things were. He was just like, nope, I know it's really good, but it looks like shit, so fuck it.
Yeah. No, I
loved it. It was
really fun, man. I enjoyed the movie. I've seen a lot of Trigger stuff, in the last couple of years, and this felt very Trigger, and it was like really enjoyable. Maybe I just don't enjoy things the way other people do, but because some people were like really way too in it, and I was like, yo, calm down.
We're much more mellow people.
Yeah, I'm just trying to watch this movie.
Like, we like goofing with our boys.
Yeah,
that's the most that we get into shit, I think.
I think there's times I didn't cheer like anytime. I for sure clapped when it was like, all right, it's time to clap now, but I wasn't like, yeah, they did the thing. Woo!
Nah, I for sure like giggled a lot. I was oh fuck, this is fun.
There's some fun and funny lines in that movie.
Yeah.
So after this, the Promare movie, the Premiere, it was a Trigger panel, which I stuck around for.
Yeah.
Just because like there was nothing else I really wanted to see for that day. I was like, I'm already here. I might as well just stay, right? Trigger panels have been hit and miss in the past for us, right?
Honestly, yeah.
To be fair, Trigger, they're kind of unorthodox. They're kind of unorganized sometimes.
Totally. They make some great ass animation.
Yeah. But... So the panel kind of started off the way I felt it would. It was like, just a bunch of hooting and hollering. They did a weird thing where they introduced all the people who were going to be on stage, and they were all at the back of the hall, way in the back, and like, come up to the front. And we're just like, why weren't they just backstage like normal people, right? And they kind of went around and they shot out trigger bucks, like through these like gun shooters. Some of them were Supreme logo ones. Like, okay. For people who also don't know anything much about Trigger is very like huge into Western stuff. Like they love the culture,
love America.
They
shit.
love the
so
the
funny.
cartoons. So it's like I was like, yeah, man, that Japanese producer rocking his Jordan 1s, shooting fucking money out of a Supreme money shooter. That is America. That is
America.
Killing it. So the panel kind of was monopolized by specifically that one guy. There was also the director of the show who hadn't been. I think he came to Anime Expo when they showed the teaser of...
Yeah, when they first announced it.
Yeah, but he hadn't been here to promote anything since, like, Gurren Lagann. That's how long he hadn't been here.
Damn.
To, like, speak to anybody. And they also brought in the guy who did the character designs. And those were the three people up there. But the producer, he monopolized it. It was essentially him just talking and then his translator just, like, repeating what he said. And a lot of the talk for the Promare part of the talk was him being like, hey, did you guys catch that fucking, that Easter egg is like with the specific thing about Gurren Lagann we all know about, and then we go,
yes,
yeah, because we're not idiots. And then he goes,
it's not like it was like, it was kind of Gurren Lagann.
It was pretty subtle. Yeah, no, it was
like,
for sure Gurren Lagann, right?
We have to have a drill.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, drill, Gurren Lagann. Yeah, I've seen Gurren Lagann.
Or
okay.
he'll go like, hey, did you guys catch that little teaser we were throwing out, fucking for Kill la Kill, where people did this, and people like, yeah, we saw the movie or whatever. So it was a lot of that, and there was also a lot of...
Also, this one chick, I don't know if they brought it up, but I forgot to talk about this with anyone. They were all piloting different vehicles, and one chick had a helicopter type thing that she piloted similar to Darling in the Franxx, where she was kind of like down on all fours.
Yeah, very...
So they didn't take just from, the things that the director had participated most in with Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill, but they really took all of Trigger and put it into this movie, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah. Just to quickly go through what they said about Promare, they kind of said the same stuff you hear in a lot of things. The people who come from Japan to see the Americans, watch their stuff or whatever, compare how we react to things as to how the Japanese audience reacts to things. So there's specific parts where instead of cheering and being like super giggly, the Japanese audience were gasping,
Yeah,
and then he's just like, yeah, man, we love both reactions because we're fucking triggered, like kind of thing.
True, yeah.
So that was pretty fun. And then there's the one bit that kind of threw me where it was like one guy yells something like so yeah, people have been saying that this movie or whatever is amalgamation and fucking an homage, and like it is just for our core audience, like our core fans. It's like a gift to them, and then everybody in the audience just kind of goes because they're fucking losing. They just lose their shit. They go, yeah, that's woo number one, and then he kind of goes, we disagree with that. Actually, we kind of wanted this movie to be more like a, hey, here's a little bit of all the stuff Trigger can do, which is what they did, right? This is kind of who we are, and for new people, give us a chance, check us out, right? And people over there were just like, yeah, cool, you accomplished that too, woo, or whatever. And then that ended, and then they did the Trigger part of the Trigger panel, and all they did was they showed, I forget what it's called, they did the intro for some 5th installment of some game. They did like the animation intro for it. I couldn't tell you what it's called. It's the game I've never seen before.
All right, cool. I think that they have talked about doing this before too. I don't know.
And then they also announced what their new Trigger project was, right?
What's it going to be?
And then before they announced it, they also said, I mean,
it's been leaked.
It's already been leaked, but we're still going to announce it. It's called the fucking
NBA.
Is that it?
No, it's like BNA.
It's BNA, which stands for Brand New Animals. And I this part I did write down because like I didn't want to forget it.
Yeah. It's Zootopia is what you told me.
No. So they usually they said they're planning on airing it. So I'm like, oh, airing it must be a show, not like a movie, because they never said movie. They never said show. Like planning on having it air, this around 2020. They also said the guy that's doing the script for the show is the guy who did the script for Gurren Lagann, Kill la Kill, and Promare, right?
Hey.
And the guy who is directing this is the guy who directed Little Witch Academia.
Hey.
So I was like, okay, cool. Those are some pretty good things in my opinion, right?
Hell yeah.
They didn't have any animation stills. All they were able to show us was like this cover art, like a poster kind of deal. They also had a couple sheets where they showed two of the main characters. One's a raccoon and one's like they're anthropomorphic raccoon, anthropomorphic wolf or whatever, and they're very like very rough. And then there's one more shot where they showed the raccoon and they were showing like the environment, how the lighting would look different, like trying to get a feel for what the thing's going to look like.
Yeah.
It looked interesting. People on Reddit, because it was leaked to Reddit, kept joking about how this was just Zootopia or whatever.
Yeah.
And it might be. Who the fuck knows?
Hey, man, I'm cool with whatever.
So, yeah, that was it for the trigger panel. They did a thing at the very end where they awkwardly fumbled to try to give away a raffle. That was because apparently a couple of the trigger bucks had like written signatures on them.
Yeah, they should have been like...
They should have been more clear about this. There's going to be a raffle.
At the very beginning, they should have been like, there's going to be a raffle.
Stick
around.
It
does have to do with the tickets, so stick around.
Stick around, right? And they fucked that up, so then... I don't know if anybody's going to be able to claim whatever the thing is, but that was kind of a fuck up. And then me and Sierra just bolted because it was fucking hectic. Oh, by the way, also a huge earthquake while this happened, right?
Fuck, yeah. So you were in your panel, and ours was like starting.
Mm-hmm. And
7.1 on the Richter scale,
which is interesting because yesterday we didn't talk about
it. Was like
yesterday.
a 6.6.
We had an earthquake during the Mappa thing, and
it was like right at the beginning of the day.
And it was like it was weird. I've been through an earthquake once before this, but this one I didn't really notice it. I thought Kyle was just like wiggling in his chair, and I was like, no, this is like, oh shit, earthquake. And then we looked into it, and it like happened a long way away from here, but we were able to feel it here in LA today. I think it happened in the same area or whatever. But this time, it was fucking busy, dog.
Yeah.
It literally stopped the Promare panel, like the trigger panel. People were like, oh god, like everything was shaking. I kind of got a little like nauseous because everything was moving. It's like, oh fuck. And then like the Japanese guys were like, are we cool? Like they were looking at like the stage guys, like, should we evacuate? Like what's the situation, And it lasted for 20 to 30 seconds. Like, it felt really long.
It felt like it was a full minute.
Yeah, and then the guys, like... then it did die down, and then the guys on Trigger were just like, cool, guys, we ready to do this? You guys ready to do this? Like, can we keep going? And then people are like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, these Japanese guys are fucking... They know earthquakes. They're cool, They're not scared of shit. And they kept talking, and eventually stuff stopped moving. And it was a little spooky. You literally texted me like a second while it happens. Like, you feeling this, dog? I was like, yeah.
No, I said like, you guys all right?
Yeah, where I was like, oh yeah, how are you guys? And I didn't know you guys were on the second floor of the fucking hotel or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was wild.
And during ours, it was before the panel started. It was like right before. We went to Mega 64, Kyle and I did. And this earthquake's going off. It was just about to start. And they just put up a meme like, you guys ready? It was SpongeBob. It was the beginning. It was like, are you ready, kids? And then people like cheered and whatnot. And then it popped up another picture of, the captain and said, I can't hear you. And then we cheered again. And then it popped up a third one. And it's like, you expected us to begin the show, but it was me, Dio. And that was great. So they fucking got us. And then the earthquake started, like right after. We were like, what the fuck is happening? It was like blaring music. Everything was crazy. And then they stopped it all, and the earthquake was going for a bit. And then after the earthquake stopped, we were all chilling, and we're like, oh, man, that was weird. And like during it, people were thinking like, should we get up? I don't know. There was like a very uneasy feeling in the room, but nobody was saying anything. Mm-hmm. And then afterwards, they're like, is everyone all right? Everything's good? It seemed okay. I think we're all good. And then all the fire alarms start going off. They're all flashing nonstop, doing a little siren. And then somebody comes up over the speaker and they're like, hey guys, we're not 100% sure, but we're pretty sure you don't have to worry about this. It's just kind of like, just don't worry about it. Ignore it for now. And then they have fire alarms that like talk, and they're like, please make your way to the
nearest exit.
Yeah, they like explained how to get out of there. And then everyone's like, well, I guess let's go. And then they come back on over the mic again. They're like, we don't know if we're supposed to go or not. we're currently talking to somebody who's with the hotel who's telling us what's going on. We're pretty sure it's not real. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, yeah, you guys can all sit down. Everything's fine. This is just going off in every room because of the earthquake. We're all good.
Like an automated thing that just kind of happens, yeah.
Exactly. And then they play the intro clip and stuff's going crazy. They throw on really absurdly loud Black Eyed Peas because they always choose an out-of-date song to come out to. Last year, they were like, yeah, man, that song's been like really bumping. It's going to be the song of the summer, and it was Gangnam Style or Gangnam Style, whatever. So this time it was Black Eyed Peas. And then as soon as they get up there, one of the guys, Rocco, he's just like, yeah, that earthquake, it's trying to take her spotlight away. So I was the one that pulled the fire alarm. I can't let anything take the spotlight away from me. This panel's for me. This is about me. Just screaming about that and whatnot. Anyways, they do their thing. They show a few videos and clips and whatnot that they have exclusive for panels. Only half of the Meg 64 guys were there. The other half are at RTX. So they were talking mad shit about how they don't even have real anime there, and they have fake ass Texan anime. They've got Ruby. They were talking mad shit, and it was fun. And then they talked about a new project that's coming up that I'm legally not allowed to talk to you about it, but I'll talk to you outside of the podcast.
Okay, cool.
Long story short, if you enjoy very popular anime, especially very popular older anime, you're going to enjoy the video that's coming out soon. They have a series of this series or like this story arc in 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So far they've done the Frieza saga, they've done the Cell saga from Dragon Ball, and then they've also done Metal Gear Solid, and this next one that they're doing is going to be a lot of fun too. Cool. They also played a new video for us, which was they have an ongoing series. I think it's been about a year now it's called Flame Wars, and they find really old threads from just different forums and whatnot of people arguing with each other with really poor grammar and just stupid shit. They found one about Anime Expo, essentially. Mm-hmm. About all different kinds of anime expos, but they just were talking about it like it's the Anime Expo, but everyone's from a different region that were talking on these forums, and they're like, you ever just steal stuff because you don't want to pay the money because it's not fucking worth it for all this anime shit? And everyone's talking about just stealing stuff at anime expos, and there's like, I don't know, ripping on each other, but it's so funny seeing them act it out in this forum. One, Rocco was dressed up kind of like Steve Jobs. And he's just like, yeah, I make sure not to steal anything. I know that they're always watching me because I'm a minority. And he's just like super white dressed up as Steve Jobs as he says that. I don't know, man. I just get such a kick out of it. Like all of these old ass stupid forums. They found that on like the Crunchyroll forum. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a hell of a fun time. I'm super glad we got to go. They always do a Q&A session, and this one was actually probably one of the best.
Oh, yeah.
They have a lot of people that go up there and just fuck around. So, of course, the first question...
Do people go up there a lot and then, like, thank them? Like, hey, man, you guys are really great. Thank you so much.
No, they just completely fuck around.
Okay, great.
So they go up there, and they're like, hey, my question is, do you guys want my barbecue Pringles? And then immediately they're just like, get the fuck out of here. Like, we don't want that shit. Get the fuck out of here. Like, fuck you. Sit down.
That's like the guy at Sack Anime who goes up to fucking the Steven Universe Q&A and goes, hey, what kind of Pepsi do fucking the Crystal Gems drink? No kind of soda they drink. And they go, Crystal Pepsi. Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah. But Mega 64 doesn't take any of that shit.
Good.
So, yeah, that was the first one. Nobody else fucked around like that. Instead, people were coming up and they were asking questions about their personal YouTube channels, which I think is a totally fine thing to do. But Rocco just wanted to be really indignant about it and being like, you know what? That's a personal channel kind of question. I can't tell you exactly what's going on with that series right now, but I can tell you that I'm definitely working on something along those lines. And if it was a panel about me, I could definitely talk about that. But it's not. So get the fuck out of here.
Oh, shit.
A few questions go by and somebody's like, hey, I have a question about this thing from your personal channel? And instead of answering it, he's like, no fucking personal channels, go sit down, which just goofing, no big deal. Then other people come up and they ask the other guy about a couple of things from his personal channel. And he's like, man, I'm really liking all these personal channel. This is so cool. I feel like you guys are just such cool people. And they were just really into the questions and had some interesting stuff to say about just kind of the different things that they've done and been through in all these different ways. Related to their work, not related to the work. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed the panel as a fan of them, and honestly, I became a huge fan of them the first time that I saw them at Anime Expo, because I already knew their work. I already watched their YouTube videos and stuff, and them just like goofing off, pretending to be video game characters, doing dumbass shit in the middle of public places. And yeah, when I saw them at Anime Expo, I was like, oh, they're just really funny, really witty people, and they love Anime Expo so much because of the enthusiasm of all the audiences and how everyone cosplays and just has so much fun with everything. They also dress up in cosplay every year as like some goofy ass costume. So Rocco was Poverty's Edge because the new like Star Wars area opened up in Disneyland called Galaxy's Edge. Yeah. And he just bought like a bunch of really shitty stuff from Galaxy's Edge. He said he bought like 8 different instruments and he brought them all. And he brought like this dumbass little clarinet thing that doesn't work very well. He was wearing just a brown robe and a giant ass beard, and he looked like a fucking idiot. The other one was some Metal Gear joke. Garrett was dressed up in like some camo spandex type stuff with a little mask over his face and like a shitload of snakes on him. And fucking, it was such a stupid name. It was kind of funny. They always come up with just this absolutely ridiculous things. It was like The Revenge of Snakes, Metal Gear or something. I don't remember. Anyways, it was a ton of fun. I fucking love Mega 64, but they don't do any actual anime shit. They just make goofy ass videos that sometimes have to do with anime, and it was good. I highly recommend them.
That's really cool. So that was it. That was day fucking two. We had ramen later that night at Little Tokyo.
We got some ROMs.
Good time, man. Tomorrow we have to wake up early because we have to go to the My Hero season 4. Like, it's not premiere. It's like a sneak preview of the fucking 4th season, right?
Yeah, it's a premiere.
Yeah, I mean,
you'll get to see the whole first episode of the 4th season.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. We did get our wristbands today. That's something that we got, blasted through fucking emails saying pick up your wristbands.
And then everyone like commenting on stuff is like, but what the fuck? What if I need to shower and like it says don't tamper with them at all? And it's gonna look fucked up.
Figure it out. Grow the fuck up, right? I did have a few people like I ran into when I was picking up my fucking wristbands complaining about like, hey, where do I get these? And then they go, it's sold out. And they go, what? And then one guy was demanding a refund for like everything. He goes like, yo, I flew all the way out here. He's like, he bought the 4-day pass. Like, I'm not even gonna go in there. I'm only here for the season 4 premiere of this thing or whatever. He goes, I want my money back. And the guy's like, you didn't pay any money for the ticket. It was free. You also missed the thing. He's like, no, I want my money for my fucking my pass back. And he's like, okay, cool. Go over here, complain to somebody else because I'm not getting paid for this.
Which, after hearing about that, makes so much more sense. When I go up there and I'm like, there's no lines. I just need to go get my ticket. But there are a bunch of people in yellow vests.
Yeah.
And I just needed to walk past them. So I'm going to walk past and I'm like, hey, what are you looking for?
Go, whoa.
Yeah, they were just like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, oh, I'm here to pick up my Hero ticket for tomorrow. And they're like, okay, just take your ID and show them your... and I'm like, thanks. But why'd you stop me? But now it makes so much more sense because of assholes like that.
So people show up and they're just like, hey, I'm here to pick up my thing. And they go, did you already like pre-order it? And they'll go, no. It's like, well, then you can't. And then that saves the person at the window the time to hassle or whatever. It was just super shitty. But anyways, we got our wristbands. We're going tomorrow.
We're going to be there.
I'm also going to watch, I think, the Cloverworks panel tomorrow is the thing I'm trying to hit.
I'm excited for that.
You're hitting a couple other things tomorrow, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to make the Cloverworks panel, but I do want to hear about that. I'm going to see the Sound Euphonium movie, which takes place, the main characters are in their 2nd year now, which is a big, exciting thing. And then I'm also going to go see the new Eureka 7 movie called Anemone. And Anemone is my favorite character from the series. I'm very excited. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's another character that is my favorite, but he's only in one episode, so fuck it. Anemone is my favorite. And they have completely fucked everything that Eureka 7 has ever done. So I'm very excited to see this movie and be like, why? Why do they keep doing this? They should have just kept the original series, and that was just it. Jesus fuck.
Anyways, that's what we're doing tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for listening to us. This is bye from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water. Thanks, you guys. Bye. Whoa, you start top first?
Yeah.
Whoa, bro. Rookie mistake.
I go middle out.
I bottom it up, bitch. We talked about tucking bitches in, by the way.
Welcome to the Instagram. When you said bitch in the first 10 seconds.
We didn't even fucking start yet. I'm going to put this at the... If I put this at the end, it was at the end of the podcast, technically.
Fuck.
Clap again.